SEMA 2025 just got wrapped up and Ford launched something that nobody was necessarily expecting. Coming 2026, the Ford Maverick 300T is coming, and I'm very excited for this because I've been kind of a large Maverick enthusiast myself. There's just a lot of capability in the aftermarket world and what you can do with these trucks. There's so many cool ones and they just look so sweet when they're slammed to the ground, and they honestly handle really well with the right suspension setup. Now, if you're not familiar with the Maverick Lobo, they just launched it the previous year, and the Maverick Lobo is supposed to be the street truck version of the Ford Maverick. It came with painted bumpers all around. It was lowered a little bit. It had the rear diff that's out of the Tremor to give it torque vectoring. It honestly handles really, really well for what it is. However, everybody wanted the same thing with the Maverick Lobo, and that was more power, and that's where Ford just gave us the Maverick 300T. Now, what the Maverick 300T has is the turbo out of the 2.3-liter EcoBoost from the Mustang EcoBoost, which now increases the power to 300 horsepower and just over 300 pound-feet of torque, which is a bump up by about 50 horse and 40 torque, or somewhere right in that range, which should be a pretty healthy amount. I would assume we'll see 0 to 60 times decrease by about half a second, maybe even a full second. And if you guys haven't had the opportunity to drive the Lobo, when you get it in its torque vectoring mode, Lobo mode is what it's called, you can actually swing the back end out if you plan the turn just right. So with an additional 50 horse, you might be able to really slide this 300T around. It could be quite a bit of fun. They also worked with Mishimoto to put in an intercooler that is 58.8% larger than the stock intercooler that is in the 2-liter, so it should really help keep things cool inside there and make sure that you don't have any boost lag, and tries to improve overall just having the same amount of boost, just launch after launch after launch, by keeping things cool. And the 300T also has Borla exhaust on it, so I'd be very curious to see if that ends up making it into production as well. Having a Mishimoto intercooler and Borla exhaust straight out of the factory I think would be pretty sweet, as well as 300 horse in a truck as small as the Maverick, or a SUV with a bed as small as the Maverick, whatever you want to call it. I really think this is going to be a lot of fun. However, there's one thing about the Maverick 300T that does scare me. If you completely spec out a Lobo as they sit right now, the Lobos can approach around $45,000–$46,000, which is an insane amount of money for a Ford Maverick in my opinion. However, there is one thing that I did notice. The Lobo comes with the Lariat and higher headlights. However, the photos and what they brought to SEMA actually has the XLT headlights on the 300T. So I'm curious if there's going to be, just like the Lobo, a low and high package. However, the low package for the 300T could be dramatically lower priced than we are thinking if it does not come with some of the Lobo specific items, such as those fancier headlights and maybe some interior bits too. I guess we'll have to find out. Let me know your thoughts on the Maverick 300T down in the comments below. Personally, I'm actually really excited for this.